The surprise trip began with a folded note on the kitchen counter and a single flower in a mason jar. You thought it was a grocery list. I watched your face when you opened it and saw 2 train tickets, one toward my favorite coastal town and one toward your grandmother's old neighborhood. If you're here for keeping romance alive in multicultural relationships, you already know a spark can arrive as quietly as steam from a morning kettle. Ours arrived with names of 2 places that made us, meeting in the middle. We packed fast and wrong, tossing sweaters over summer shirts and laughing as we argued about which snacks count as essential. On the platform, the air smelled like coffee and metal, and someone's suitcase wheels clicked like a metronome. The ride carried us past fields, still wearing autumn's last color, then into a city where your memories knew the streets by heart. Somehow the journey itself felt like a vow. I brought you to the pier, where I learned to breathe when life felt loud. You took me to the bakery that made your childhood taste like Sundays. We traded bites, traded stories, and realized romance is less about scenery and more about seeing. That's something we talk about often on Whispered Hearts. English, because long-term love grows whenever attention feels like home. But there's something even quieter hiding beneath big gestures and postcard views. Romance evolves as people do. Early love lives on surprise and adrenaline, and that thrill is beautiful. Later, love learns your calendar, your comfort zones, and the shape of your laugh after a long week. It's not less electric, it's more grounded. Research shows novelty wakes up the brain, and therapists report that shared rituals keep couples steady. Put the 2 together, and you get something powerful. A pattern with sparks, a rhythm with riffs. Have you noticed which part your relationship needs more of this season? Freshness or familiarity? Here's a curiosity that changed the way we loved each other. What if the spark isn't lost? What if it's speaking a different cultural dialect? In your world, romance arrives as acts of service and family-first plans. In mine, it arrives as words and one-on-one adventures. When we realized we were both right, we stopped arguing about what counts and started translating. We began blending traditions into modern dates without turning love into homework. We made a 2-culture playlist for cooking nights, 1 song from your festivals and 1 from my road trips. Spring rain tapped the window while garlic hit hot oil, and the kitchen smelled like 2 countries telling the same story. We plated noodles next to grilled fish and laughed at our accidental fusion. On summer evenings, we brought a picnic to the park and practiced your language for 10 minutes before switching to mine. Kids chased kites, a dog insisted on friendship, and we found romance in the small triumph of saying a sentence cleanly for the first time. When the sun gave us that late gold, we let it stretch our time. What would it look like to borrow 1 ritual from your partner's world this week and let it breathe in yours? But there's something even quieter holding romance together than date nights and playlists. The way you notice, the way you narrate. That Saturday I told you, I love the way you cut fruit like you're making a tiny museum. You said, I love the way you hum when the coffee finishes. Praise is a pocket-sized bouquet that never wilts. We made a small ritual for praise so it wouldn't get lost under groceries and emails. Every Sunday night, 3 sentences each. 1 about effort, 1 about delight, 1 about growth. No rules about size. Some weeks the win was big. Some weeks it was, you remembered I hate cilantro. Both mattered. Which sentence could you say tonight that would land like a candle in a dark room? Romance also means honoring differences without turning them into distance. We once stumbled over PDA a street festival. In my culture, a quick hand squeeze feels tender. In yours, affection stays private to protect dignity. We paused right there next to the lanterns and used our repair choreography. Safety, same team. Empathy, public touch feels risky for you. It feels connecting for me. Action, we'll create a signal and keep touch soft and brief in crowds. The lanterns kept floating. So did we. But there's something even more generous than repair. Prepare. Planning for tenderness the way you plan for traffic. Before family gatherings, we agree on signals, pronouns, and words to avoid. We set a timeline so we can slip out for a short walk under the porch lights and return with oxygen in our lungs. Romance is easier when the night is designed to be kind. Long-term love can go stale when every date becomes dinner at the same place near the same window. We treated the city like a syllabus and chose themes. Street art 1 month, spoken word another, snacks from home countries the next. We kept costs low and curiosity high. Novelty didn't demand extravagance, it asked for intention. We also designed micro-romance into weekday life, because waiting for weekends was starving us. I started leaving bilingual sticky notes on the fridge, tiny love poems in 2 scripts. You made morning playlists that started gentle and ended brave, so the commute felt like a warm-up for joy. Romance became a daily drip instead of a monthly flood. But there's something even quieter than sticky notes and songs, time that belongs to both of you at once. We set 15-minute porch appointments, even in crisp winter air with scarves pulled up to our noses. Hot cocoa steamed like small clouds, and we asked each other one question that wasn't about logistics. Where did you feel most alive today? The porch taught us to meet again and again. Therapists report that couples who mark seasons together feel closer. We built seasonal rituals with cultural flavor. Autumn meant a night drive to watch leaves tumble while we shared folk tales from our grandparents. Spring meant a market morning, choosing flowers and spices we both recognized. Summer meant community festivals, where we danced badly and smiled hard. Winter meant handwritten cards tucked into coat pockets, the paper warm from our hands. Have you noticed which season could carry your next date? What scent, sound, or street would make it feel like yours? Put it on the calendar before life does it for you. We leaned into food because hunger is a universal language. You taught me your grandmother's dumpling fold over FaceTime, with your aunt coaching from her kitchen. I taught you my family's emphasis on exact oven timing, how to listen for the thinnest crackle in the crust. We plated our efforts on mismatched dishes and ate like explorers who had finally found a map. Gift-giving traditions needed translation too. In your culture, it's rude to open a gift right away. In mine, it's rude to wait. We split the difference. At home, we opened slowly with tea and a small toast. In public, we saved a reveal for later and texted a thank you photo. Romance isn't one size fits all. It's tailor-made and hemmed with care. But there's something even quieter than gifts and dinners. Adventure built for real life. We created tiny trips, challenges that fit after work. A new neighborhood bakery on a rainy Thursday. A museum gallery we'd never entered, just one room, then home. A sunset drive to the overlook with a thermos and a blanket. Small adventures are pocket sparks. They light quickly and leave you glowing. Midway through the year, routines got heavy. Love started to feel like a well-loved couch, comfortable but too familiar. That's when whispered hearts. English became our bench to catch our breath. Not a place selling perfect answers, but a community that says, "You belong. Your way is welcome." We sat with stories from couples like us, and the message was simple. You're not behind. You're building. We vowed to court each other in both languages, literal and emotional. I learned enough phrases to surprise your parents at dinner. You wrote me a short note in my first language and taped it to the bathroom mirror like a sunrise. Romance grows when effort goes visible. Even clumsy effort feels like a rose. Travel plans took on a double meaning. We made a 2-stop policy when possible. 1 trip near your roots, 1 near mine. If money or time said no, we planned a festival swap at home. I learned your holiday dessert. You learned my seasonal toast. The living room wore both colors. The calendar wore both names. But there's something even quieter that keeps hearts leaning forward. Curiosity that doesn't retire. We asked each other questions that assumed evolution. What feels romantic to you lately? What do you need more of? Surprise or steadiness? The answers shifted with job changes, health waves, and the weather. We adjusted like sailors reading the wind. We created a spark list in our phones, not a bucket list. It held tiny, doable things. Wear each other's favorite color on a date. Send a voice note at lunch describing the best smell in the room. Leave a book open with a line highlighted just for you. Sparks don't wait for a free weekend. They start now. We kept 1 night a month for story exchange. You brought a scene from your childhood that still makes you smile. I brought a scene from mine that still steadies me. We set a candle between us, as if the flame could translate. And maybe it did. After the stories, we sat with the quiet, like an old friend who understands without interrupting. Romance took bravery when stress rose. Remember the week we almost let kindness leak out the door? We were tired, snappish, and proud. So we reached for our repair again. Safety. Same team. Empathy. You felt invisible after my late nights. You felt micromanaged when I asked questions. Action. We scheduled 2 earlier dinners this week, phones down, and I'll send a mid-afternoon check-in. The apology was short. The change was longer. That's how trust grows. But there's something even more tender than bravery. Play. We turned chores into a ridiculous game with points for flair. You got extra for dancing while folding. I got extra for inventing a new spice mix for roasted vegetables. We kept the scoreboard on the fridge with doodles that made us roll our eyes and smile anyway. Play is the shortcut to warmth. We invited friends into our romance in the right way. A community dinner with a theme, dishes your grandparents loved, made our home feel like a small embassy for kindness. People arrived with stories baked in. When you told the one about your grandfather's market stall, I saw you more clearly than any date night could have offered. Friends who celebrate you make your love sturdier. We watched for burnout, because nothing kills spark faster than chronic exhaustion. We protected sleep like a shared asset. We guarded no work talk zones, so the couch could be a couch again. We let Sunday mornings be slow. Pancakes are romantic when everyone is calm enough to taste the butter. Money didn't need to be loud to be romantic. We created a modest romance envelope in our budget. Cash we spent only on small surprises. Flowers from a corner stand, a rented movie we missed, a bus ticket to the next town's festival. Saying, "We planned for joy," felt like holding hands with our future. We honored privacy boundaries around public romance. You prefer tenderness that whispers. I prefer gestures that wave. We met in the middle, with a hand on the small of the back at crosswalks, and a longer goodbye hug at the front door. When I reached for more in the wrong moment, you taught me with grace instead of shame. That's romance, too. But there's something even quieter that never stopped working. Writing. A postcard slid into a lunch bag, a napkin note under a plate, a short poem that won't win awards but wins the day. Paper holds love in a way a phone can't. It crinkles, it waits, it remembers. We closed the year with a festival of us. We chose one symbol from each culture and one new symbol we invented together, a small charm shaped like a horizon line. We put it on a shelf with photos where winter light can touch it and spring dust will try. Every time we passed, the charm reminded us that love isn't a finish line, it's a language we keep learning. What's one romantic tradition you've started together? Share it in the comments. Your idea might become someone's first joyful memory in a new city, a new marriage, or a new season of trying again. If routine has been fogging your windows lately, this is your permission to open them. Warm bread on a Tuesday, a drive to watch streetlights blink awake, a bilingual compliment whispered while you wait for the kettle. Put something small and sincere on the calendar before the week decides for you. And if your last date went sideways, forgive your effort and plan a softer version. Set a start and finish time. Choose a simple scene. Porch, park, corner booth. Ask one generous question, then listen like you're learning a new instrument. When the moment lands, say thank you out loud. Gratitude is romance that speaks clearly. Thank you for spending part of your day with us. Whispered hearts. English exists so your love has a neighborly porch light and a bench to rest on when life runs fast. Keep showing up for the tiny fireworks. They teach the big ones how to find you. Tonight, leave one note where your partner will discover it by accident. Tomorrow, text one line from a song they grew up with. This weekend, plan one tiny trip with a flavor from each world. You don't need a perfect plan. You need a warm one. And when the years stack up like novels on a shelf, some chapters loud, some pages quiet, you'll look back and see how intentionally you wrote them. Not with luxury, with attention. That's the secret to keeping romance alive in multicultural relationships, and you're already fluent enough to begin again.